Mr. Speaker, last weekend, I had the honor of participating in a remarkable event in the mountain town of Adjuntas, Puerto Rico. There, thousands braved a torrential downpour to demonstrate against a proposed natural gas pipeline that the current ruling party in Puerto Rico is threatening to build across the mountains and rainforests of the island. While I was there, I met Rosana Lopez Leon, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico's ombudsman for the elderly. As ombudswoman, she has the unusual latitude for a public servant in the current government to speak the truth about what she hears and sees from senior citizens across the island. Her term is 14 years, longer than that of the governors, and the money her office comes mainly from the federal government from the Older Americans Act. So she is uncorruptible, unassailable, and thank God, untouchable. She presented me with a series of letters she wrote to Attorney General Eric Holder and to other federal agencies and Puerto Rican officials. They are based on sworn affidavits from senior citizens residing in 4 towns in the path of the proposed pipeline in Puerto Rico, describing how local seniors are being pressured and intimidating into signing over their property for the pipeline's supposed unapproved right-of-way. Mrs. Lopez de Leon believes that, quote, repetitive violations of the Older Americans Act have become a danger to the lives, health, property rights of the elderly population of Puerto Rico. She describes illegal trespassing into properties of the elderly under the false pretext of measuring a non-existent right-of-way, illegal trespassing into the homes of the elderly with the fraudulent pretense to generate a written authorization from the elderly to allow and permit a consented purchase of their property to the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and the energy company well below market value of the property without granting the elderly the opportunity to seek counsel, a recent appraisal, or to contest the eminent domain procedure which they are threatened with if they do not grant, quote, a voluntary consent to sell their properties. These 41 affidavits are from 4 towns on the route of the proposed gas line, Adjuntas, Peñuelas, Utuado, and Toa Baja. And I would like to first talk about one of them, because I will read some short translations from some chilling stories that we have gathered here. And the first one is from Antonia Santiago Cabrera, 69, from Adjuntas, Puerto Rico, who is in this picture. By the way, she was born in this home 69 years ago. She says, the helicopters of the energy company constantly fly over my residence, and they do so at a low altitude, disturbing my tranquility. Since my home is built of wood and tin, as you see in the picture, with the helicopters hover, my entire house trembles. That has generated much anxiety to me, and for this reason I had to visit my primary doctor and have had to take medication for my nerves, and heart condition has even worsened. Then there is Lorencia Maldonado Rentas. She's 82 years old and is pictured in front of her house with her sister Gloria. She says, the letters I received were written to pretend to be a study to be conducted on the needs of the population, and it ended up being one about natural gas, the pipeline, and the expropriation process of Barrios Portuguese community in Adjuntas, Puerto Rico. In them, the process of expropriation is presented, but it is not explained. I do not understand it. Then there's Mr. Luis Guzman. We don't have a picture of the 67-year-old farmer. Although he has been harassed since last year, Mr. Guzman does not know how to read and can barely write. Does not need to fully be educated, however, to know the difference between right and wrong. If only choosing between right and wrong would come that easy to the ruling party of Puerto Rico. I ask unanimous consent that these affidavits be put into the record, Mr. Speaker. You know,
objection?
I want to make it clear to you, Mr. Speaker, and to this body, and to the Attorney General Eric Holder, that these are not powerful men and women. They are not legal scholars or real estate experts, but they have made simple pleas to the court, and their complaints should be heard. They are worried that they will lose their homes. They will lose their crops, which sustain them, because of the laws and legal maneuvers they do not understand. They are U.S. citizens and need our help. I plan to post all of the affidavits I have already received, along with hundreds of pages I have received from federal agencies under the Freedom of Information Act on my website. The more light that is shined on this project, Mr. Speaker, the more it reflects back a dark story of secrets, strong-arming, and shortcuts. I plan to continue shining my light and making as much information as possible so that the voice of the people of Puerto Rico is heard. Mr. Speaker, I ask that the affidavits presented in court in Puerto Rico from 18 senior citizens in Toa Baja, 10 senior citizens in Adjuntas, 4 senior citizens in Peñuelas, and 9 senior citizens in Utuado, along with the correspondence from the Puerto Rico office of the Ombudsman, a office funded by the federal government, an official 14-year standing agency of the government of Puerto Rico, be entered officially into the record.
Without objection, the gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you.